On this Wellness Wednesday, they say you should never self-diagnose. Well, a single symptom could relate to myriad ailments that don't describe you, but you want to take control of your own health. Dr. Elizabeth Rodgers is back, and she is best known as the Sherlock Holmes of health. So looking for answers, that's what you do best. But it's true, you know, they say don't self-diagnose because you're going to find the worst of the worst, and you're going to think that it's dire rather than it being actually a quite simple solution.
Absolutely, which we call in science, we call that confirmation bias. We tend to go look, you know, for the information that validates what we already think. So if we think we're sick, we're going to go find, you know, half a dozen research studies to be able to say to our partner, see, I know, I told you.
So what's a healthy way then of educating yourself and sleuthing on the internet?
Well, that's why, you know, one of the reasons I use a lot of words like clues and sleuth, because when you're out there on the internet looking for health information, among all types of information, you really do kind of have to be like a detective and a sleuth, because there's always information there designed to throw you off. There, of course, are people who want you to buy into their next trend or quick fix that is honestly not going to heal your problem, just going to put a Band-Aid on it, if anything. So we have to be really cautious. So, you know, the information I brought today is really to help our audience understand how they can be better sleuths and understand when you are looking at health information that you find online, how can you know if it's something you can trust and if it's actually right for you? Right.
Well, exactly. You know, and the alternative to a doctor telling you, well, you need to be put on this medication or that, you want to know if there could be a holistic way of approaching the problem to understand what it is, and something that I am a huge advocate for, and that is to know what your allergies are, because sometimes the solution can be so simple. All you need to do is go for a simple allergy test to know that you're eating a bunch of things in your diet that your body isn't agreeing with. And it manifests itself in all different ways. People think it's just a rash, but it could be a headache or joint pain, or
there can be so many things contributing, right? Because there are a lot of different factors that impact our health and ability to heal. That's why I always tell people that the first best thing you can do is actually find the original source of the health information you're reading. Because when we hear it, oftentimes, how are we hearing it? We looked it up on a blog, it's on someone's social media post, or we're talking about it here, so we're hearing it on a news broadcast, or we're reading it in an article, and there's nothing wrong with that. However,
it's going through a filter.
It's going through a filter, and it's coming from an indirect source. And then health information can kind of turn into that game we used to play when we were kids, like the telephone game, where, you know, you say something to one kid, it gets passed down the line, and by the time the last kid says it, it's definitely a little warped. So where I could say, you know, I bought a new car today, the last kid will say, I fought a kangaroo today, which, you know, which sounds really funny, but in the real world, when it's our health, it can have detrimental consequences. So it's really important to just go find the original source, because then you might find that what's really going on inside of that research isn't just safe for you to assume.
And I also like that you say, look for the people who were in the study. So meaning the people who created the study?
Good question. The people who volunteered to be a part of the study. So a couple of reasons. Study populations, oftentimes, if you are out there looking for health information, often the study itself is not necessarily going to be representative of our general population or of you. And then that means the results of that study, and the results of any study, are only applicable to the people in the real world who are similar to the people who volunteered to be a part of that study.
We forget that.
So for example, ladies, historically research has been biased against us, and still to this day, a lot of research studies exclude women and only include men.
Oh, I didn't know that. So maybe a drug that was successful for men wouldn't necessarily be successful for women.
Exactly. So I think, and of course I would say it's good for everyone to look at who's in the study, but for women especially, we actually do need to be extra cautious.
But your doctor is going to still prescribe it.
Exactly. And your doctor is not necessarily going to go look at that research study and say, oh, well, Layla's coming in today, but you know, this drug I was going to recommend for her blood pressure was really more effective in men. men. They're probably not going to have the time to take those extra steps on your behalf, but you certainly can.
Yeah, taking power back is what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And be sure to listen to Dr. Rodgers' podcast, The Bridge. It's filled with really interesting interviews and just great information. You've got great information. We so love having you here.
Thank you
very much for all this great information. And for people who want more, you also have a website. What is it called?
drelizabethrodgers.com.
All right, go there.
Super easy.
Super easy. We're back in 2 minutes.